Hello everyone, my name is PJ and welcome to The Void. If you've seen my review of Final Fantasy XI, then you already know what I think of this game, but I also mentioned that the soundtrack is one of the best parts, probably the best part next to the story, enough to warrant a second video about it. So here are my top 10 favorite songs from Final Fantasy XI. During my earliest hours, I spent a lot of time in the 3 starting nations. Since I was playing as an Elvon, I was mostly in Sandoria. After spending a lot of time in the other 2 nations, I came to realize that I liked Sandoria the best. It was clean, it was majestic, and it's the only starting town where the survivor guide is inches away from a home point, which ended up being my personal home point for the majority of my playthrough. And the lands just outside Sandoria, Ranfor, or however you pronounce it, ended up being my favorite place to level new jobs, for multiple reasons, but none more prevalent than its BGM. A lot of people are going to be surprised to see this song so low on the list, as it's one of the few songs in this game to appear in concerts and orchestra tours. I originally wasn't going to include it at all. The intent was to make a top 8 list, but a friend talked me into adding it. When FF11 was first released overseas, it came pre-packaged with the first expansion, Rise of the Xylart. Unlocking the story for this expansion requires beating the Shadow Lord, so for North Americans, the final boss of the game was not the King of the Beastmen, but Eeld Narshe. Eeld Narshe remains one of the most popular characters and villains in the game to this day, and was a frequent candidate for Dissidia, although his brother Kamlanout ended up getting it instead. I guess it didn't want all 3 of FF11's reps to be adults who looked like children. Eeld Narshe has 2 unique boss themes, and Belief plays in the second phase of his fight, although I will not be playing the original song for you today. Instead, I will be playing Dissidia's remix of it, because it's the whole reason I like the song in the first place. first time I played FF11 was back in 2015. I created a pink-haired Mithra character modeled and named after one of my OCs, Cam Weatherin. I only played for a short time, just until my free trial ran out. I started over in March of 2019 for the sake of doing a complete Let's Play series and decided to change things up by playing an Elvon. By the time I was already too far into the game, I was really regretting not playing a Mithra. I really wish there was a way to change your race. But anyway, the Mithra have the best theme of all the races. Check it out. It's a frequent joke in the JRPG community that boring-looking battles are made more exciting just by having epic music. And for nothing is that more true than for colonization reaves. In Seekers of Odalin, you had to learn a number of survival skills that allow you to traverse the jungle. Some let you climb, some let you raft over rivers, but some let you duel with nature itself. So go out there, start doing battle with a fucking tree, and get your jam on. Chains of Promethea was the first major expansion. It was like its own game, unlike Xylard, which was just a few missions long. It had an encroaching apocalypse, political intrigue, secret god cities, an immortal, foul-mouthed Elvon girl, and a final battle against the Twilight God himself. This guy not only had a hand in creating all of mortal kind, but also possesses a degree of control over them. Apathy, rage, envy, arrogance, and cowardice may be basic aspects of humanity, but they are all his doing and are all his domain. That clock ticking in the background is counting down to your doom. And what is your reward for defeating Promethea? You get a long cinematic set to the first lyrical song in the game, which is also the only song to date sung in English. Distant Worlds was a song that captured the concept and feeling of what online games were at the time. 2004 was just before FF11's peak era, and this song is all about the magic of millions of people from around the world going on an adventure together without having to meet in person, something that must have seemed like a miracle back then. But I won't be playing the original Distant Worlds today because I don't really like that version. Instead, I'll be playing the version from one of a series of touring concerts, all named after it. That's the power this song has. I first heard the song Iron Colossus back when it was included in Dissidia. I later learned that the song originated in the Treasures of Art Ergen expansion, in which Alexander is the final boss. I figured, okay, so this must be Alexander's theme. It couldn't possibly be anything else. Well, I'm fairly certain that there was some sort of horrible miscommunication, because Iron Colossus is anything but that. Instead, it ended up being used as the themes for Odin and Shantoto. Well, it's an awesome song regardless, but it would be better if it were a boss theme. The Seed Crystal, while being one of the most annoying and broken bosses in the game, had a lot of potential to be the game's final story boss. Not only is it a crystal, which is hugely symbolic, but A Crystalline Prophecy's story revolves around Aldo and his long-lost sister, the two characters from the opening FMV. The Seed Crystal threatened to sing the ancient song of the gods, destroying the world in the process, but was ultimately stopped by an opposing song that exists in the hearts of all mortal kind, be they good or evil. It could have been an epic finale, but they half-assed the story, the missions were disgusting, and the boss is really buggy and easily cheesed. This song is the only good part of that add-on. Most of the missions in FF11 are a slog. Only a rare few are actually fun, and only one was so fun that it put a big smile on my face while I was playing it. Storm's Crescendo has you sprinting through a cave system and giving the signal to a number of operatives. Each one detonates a bomb in the tunnel and gives you the flee status for a short time. You must dash for the next operative before flee wears off, or you have to start over, and the mission culminates with the tunnel caving in on your enemies. It's a fast-paced mission full of adrenaline and explosions. It's a shame it's not a repeatable mission. I had to help someone else with it in order to play it again. A Moogle Couperita may not be the most story-critical of the game's storylines, but it was certainly the most fun. It was full of unique puzzles and minigames framed around a cute story about Moogle mobsters. Rico Kupenreich isn't the hardest boss in the game, but the D&D nerd in me loves the way the battle is organized, with phases and ads with various roles. But Rico also has the best battle theme in the game. And those are my top 10 songs from FF11. Given the immense size of the game, I barely even covered a tenth of the game's overall soundtrack, so I recommend giving the rest of it a listen sometime. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll be here, in the darkness, quietly awaiting your return.